Hi, Mark Veruna with Printing News and PrintingNews.com here in Chicago on day 2 of Graph Expo 2015. And joining us now is Dennis Amorosano, who's the VP and GM of Marketing for Canon. Welcome, Dennis.
Thank you so much.
First thing I wanted to ask you, as I've asked a couple of the other Canon folks, is about the theme of the exhibit for you guys this year, which is See Bold Solutions.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about your take on what Canon means by that.
Yeah, well, of course, Canon obviously has made a significant amount of investments over the last number of years in this part of the marketplace, and those investments have resulted in what we think is frankly speaking, the widest product portfolio in the industry from both a hardware and a software perspective. And we think we're really helping commercial printers kind of take their businesses in bold new directions. And so, when we think about it in those terms, clearly then we're looking at bold solutions to help them do that. So that's certainly some of the background in terms of why we look to drive that type of theme this year, and it's something that we're looking to drive forward on a go-forward basis as well. Just given the bullish nature as to the way we feel about the print industry in general.
Okay. Makes sense. And as far as a show like this, Dennis, or even Drupa next year, it seems like in the past hardware took center stage at
Sure.
shows like this, and maybe still to some degree, but I think software and workflow software in particular is more and more becoming top
Sure.
of mind of people. Tell us a little bit about Canon's workflow software offerings and why they're so important.
Right. Yeah, I think it's such a good point. I mean, when we look at commercial printers in general, I think one of the things we recognize is that commercial printers they're factories, right? And one of the key things in terms of driving competitive advantage and driving cost out of the factory-oriented process of producing print is to get better in terms of workflow. And so this has been a theme that we've been seeing at certainly the last several Graph Expo events, and one that as an organization we're very focused on. So one of the nice things about Canon's technology portfolio today is that with the acquisition of U.S.A. back in 2009, in some ways the crown jewel of that acquisition, at least in my view, is the fact that Prisma as a technology came with the acquisition, both in terms of Prisma Sync, which is our primary controller platform, as well as the Prisma software suite, which again provides these workflow and document make-ready and print shop management capabilities wrapped around the hardware that we offer. So, what we're finding in terms of our business is that more and more of our customers are looking at how can they leverage those Prisma technologies in combination with the hardware they're placing to drive better efficiencies, again, strip cost out of their business process, and in doing so make themselves much more competitive in the market and give themselves the flexibility to compete for different types of business, frankly, that their traditional business models in some cases may not have allowed them to compete for in the past.
Mm-hmm. And as print service providers look to upgrade or enhance their workflow management, what are some of the essential elements in your mind and in Canon's mind? What are the things that they should be aware of or that they need to fix
Sure.
or make better?
I think this starts in many ways, Mark, with assessing what's happening inside your organization first and foremost, and one of the things we do inside Canon within the professional services organizations that we make available is we help customers to assess the challenges they're facing in terms of driving their various workflow processes and the tasks associated with them. So that really is the first step for any print for pay type provider in the marketplace. Gain an understanding as to how your business is operating today, and with the help of folks like the professional services resources inside Canon, we can help to identify bottlenecks and areas where we can drive process improvements and use the best practices, frankly, that we've gained from having done these types of things for many, many customers in the marketplace, and apply those to solve really some of the most complex workflow challenges that we see.
In terms of trends, Dennis, now and maybe in the near future, looking forward to 2016, what are we seeing in the workflow world? Is is it mobile? Is it more web storefronts? Is it the cloud? Is it all of the above? And something that I'm maybe not thinking of at the moment?
Yeah, no, I think it's a lot of all of the above. Frankly speaking, I think there's certainly no shortage of activity around each of the areas that you mentioned, and no shortage of opportunity, frankly, in the industry for for print service providers to figure out ways to become more efficient in what they do. If we kind of dig a little bit deeper in terms of some of the trends, what we're finding is that these activities in many cases are spawning net new business opportunities for print service providers. So, whereas many years ago, all the rage was building digital storefronts, and certainly we still have many print service providers who are doing that. But today, I think you're finding an even bigger trend moving towards more comprehensive customer communication management type services being offered in the market, and print service providers getting into areas that heretofore were really the domain of IT organizations. So they're getting into things like database management and big data analytics and the like as part of delivery of services to their existing client base. And for me, that's exciting from an industry perspective. It's no longer just about big iron and how many pages can I produce in a particular hour. It's much more about how do I drive better workflows, how do I provide a set of even more value-added services to my customer base beyond the traditional printed page. So I think for our industry, it's a really exciting time.
I would agree. It's exciting, and the show is exciting. I think traffic's been pretty good today, and Canon, Canon and U.S.A. is a big reason why there's such a buzz.
Sure.
So,
well, thank you.
I wish you luck at the show, and thanks for spending some time with us.
Thanks so much. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks.